So tell us a little bit about your business is different. A lot of the syndicators do a revenue share. You're a technology platform, so tell us about the cost equation on both sides for the content owners and the publishers, where you sit and how that product works.
Well, we feel that there are so many players out there monetizing the video ad impression. We really don't need one more company to do that. But what we do need is a system that allows a pipeline, a more sophisticated way of being able to syndicate content to create more scale. And so Vidible simply is an exchange platform for video syndication. We do not want to get involved in the monetization piece because we feel that there are great companies that can do that. The one problem in our industry is that we need more video content, quality video content. So by creating this programmatic tool, it allows publishers to reach more scale in delivering video content, which in turn gives them the empowerment to monetize that impression.
So suppose I'm a big newspaper publisher and I want to monetize my views. How do I work with you guys in the network in a way that's different from the revenue share scenario that you see with the other syndicators?
Sure. We put all of the control in the hands of that publisher. We say to them, use our platform, upload your video content to our platform, price your content at the price you wish to have your content to be sold for, and allow the market to be able to then dictate how much of the content they wish to actually buy of that. And therefore, we're creating a marketplace where there is a transparent economy of scale between the buyer and the seller. Instead of having someone in the middle determining that and conducting a rev share, we really want the two companies to have a one-to-one relationship. And therefore, that just creates a lot more scale and syndication because they know there's no one in the middle, taking margins that are unnecessarily needed.
Okay, so tell us about the monetization. Who do you link up with? Do you link up with who participates in this private exchange on the advertising side?
Yeah, so we partner with a number of networks and exchanges to help with filling in the impressions of the content being purchased if that publisher doesn't have their own monetization team to sell against it. So when a publisher can actually come in and buy content, we have tools that enable them to be able to partner up with that various network or exchange that they wish to use. We have a waterfall that allows them to be able to multiply put in other exchanges and networks to help fulfill that video impression that they're actually purchasing. So again, it's giving that video publisher the ability to have control in not only editorially what content they want to put on their site, but it also enables them to be able to have the control of how they wish to monetize it. And that's something new in our space. By creating this exchange marketplace, we're again putting the control in the buyer and seller's hands.
Okay, so let's talk about the buyer. So I'm a small paper and I need video, so I'm buying video through your system. I'm putting it on my site.
Yeah.
What do I have to do? How do I play in that game, and what are the costs to me or the benefits?
Yeah, the benefit is that they now have a UI that they can log into and have a number of different tools to be able to search for the right type of content that they want to put on their site. So from an editor's perspective, we feel this is very exciting because it really allows them to look at a Vidible as a Getty Images for professional video content. They, for the first time, now have editorial control of what video content or feeds or playlists of videos they want to create on their property. And that's something we feel very excited about because that is now putting more control in these publishers' hands. Because I think in a lot of cases they want video content. I think that the biggest concern is they've not had the ability to have a marketplace to be able to discover it and, more importantly, decide which videos they get to control on their website.
So tell us a little bit about the players, the sizes, who plays in this, how they come to it, who you accept in this ecosystem.
Yeah, as any good exchange, we really want to be agnostic when it comes to how the players are used. Granted, Vidible does have a player built into the system, but we also recognize that many companies already have existing relationships with OVPs, or they've built their own player. So we very much are open to integrating players into our platform to allow them to still use the player that they have and still create that type of scale.
Okay, so let's talk about who, this so-called private exchange for publishers. What are the sizes of the companies that are in this or could be in it, both in terms of the content creators and the buyers, the smaller publishers that use this? Like, what's the size of these companies and how are you building that network of buyers and sellers?
Yeah, it's the nice thing about building this exchange is because we don't have to pre-qualify the size of the company that we work with. Because this is really putting the tools in these companies' hands, they then have the ability to build out how they wish to scale their syndication business. So we have media companies that have their content up on our platform that they syndicate out to hundreds of existing publishers that they've worked with. However, we've also got production companies that may only have 5 or 6 syndication partnerships in place. Either one is totally suitable for our platform. And for both of them, it serves a great purpose, because for the first time in video syndication, these companies have control and transparency of where their video content is going to. Granted, they know the relationship they have with that publisher, but do they know exactly what URL their content's running on, how much of their content is running on those particular sites, and have they set up the right type of negotiation for that syndication business? By giving them this real-time reporting and analytics through the Vidible UI, we now give them those tools to be able to have a better understanding and therefore be more informed of how they actually conduct their video syndication business moving forward.
So on the open exchange piece of this, is it dynamic bidding or is it a set price? How does that work and how might that develop?
Yeah, the content owner has complete control of how they want to price their content. It is built to do dynamic bidding. However, for the most part, most of the companies have just set static bid prices, and that to date's been working, very well. A content owner can set the price on a minimum bid, suggested bid price, and then the content buyer can come in and determine how much they want to buy of that particular content based on the price that's set within the exchange. As we keep evolving the business, we will start incorporating more dynamic bid pricing that also incorporates trends. So as different trends are being purchased on the platform, the price of the content will dynamically bid up and down as the demand increases and decreases. And that again puts a lot of great controls for the content owner to really maximize the value of how much their content's worth given the activity in our marketplace.
And Tim, finally, you guys closed a round. Tell us about the financing, about the company, and what the roadmap is for this year.
Yep. So early Q4, we closed our round with Greycroft IDG Ventures, co-led, along with New York Times. And very excited about having those partners in place. They not only are great strategic allies, but they also come with a great knowledge base in how we can scale our business, particularly through the New York Times and IDG relationships, as they are obviously owning their own properties themselves. So it's a great match to have those investors in and helping us scale the business.
That's great. And just tell us about the scope of the business and what the funding will allow you to do and the operational side of things.
So up until the funding, we've been primarily focused on R&D. So engineering has really been the core focus. For us, if an exchange is going to be successful, we can't have any hiccups. So we've built a very scalable platform out of the gate. With the funding, this allows us to be able to stretch our legs and start building out more of the business side, to start creating more strategic partnerships with more content owners, and of course scaling more of that buy side. So the money will be in 2014 about beefing up more of the engineering, but really building out the business side to create a much more bigger footprint of the Vidible platform.
And finally, on the sell side or the content creators, how do you see that bucket expanding? Are those news publishers, premium publishers? What do you see? What is your goal in terms of building that bucket? Right.
If our vision is correct, we feel that the world of content is going to be ubiquitous. 5 years ago, you'll have media companies that typically would never allow their content to run on one of their competing web properties. However, in today's world, video syndication is very expensive. Producing content is very difficult. In order for us to scale as an industry, we need video content to be available across whatever device, across whatever property. And what Vidible's goal is to allow those media companies to create relationships with frenemies, companies that they typically would not have allowed their video content to run. But as we evolve, they understand that their users aren't always going to be on their site, and in order to be able to engage in the kind of quality content that they're building, they're going to have to use syndication. Our platform puts those tools in their hands to have those types of relationships and to scale their video syndication.